There's a difference between people who want to see change and people who want to make change.
I was looking for a way to get more involved on campus with advocacy and civil rights.
What I was wondering is how to make the change that I wanted.
I grew up just watching the aftermaths of the Watts Rebellion, just seeing how people who are disenfranchised in this country experience their daily lives, and just having a lot of anger inside of me.
I grew up in the west suburbs of Chicago. I wanted to get involved with the program because of the multitude of community building, as well as learning about policy, as well as the stipend to help take care of bills, food, transportation, and different things like that.
I knew that there were systematic problems with the way things were, but I didn't know how to sort of affect it.
My mock trial coach, Olu Orange, reached out to me and he told me that he was putting together this program that would be the first undergrad civil rights clinic in the entire nation.
I wanted to provide opportunities for students to become involved in civil rights field work, as well as have the opportunity to blend that work with their pedagogy.
Agents of Change is an opportunity to do hands-on work in the community, and this was also an opportunity for me to be able to fund my housing while at USC.
I thought it was a great opportunity working in these different agencies, getting paid, and also being able to go to school at the same time.
After just transferring into USC, seeing that there was a program for me to be able to express myself, do the work, and be combative in a productive way towards these systems that have done people like myself and other groups so wrong was just a joyful thing to be experienced.
Our partners have worked with the program director, Olu Orange, in a professional capacity. So a lot of these partners, almost all of them actually are formed through his professional connections.
I'm a civil rights attorney. For the past 20 or so years, I've been the director of the Dornsife Trial Advocacy Program. We go into the community and we do work with public interest law organizations, and also sometimes do work on special public interest law projects. Agents of Change was actually an expansion of that portion of the trial advocacy program.
I was very happy to get to teach both my classes with AOC. The first one is a race and ethnic politics course called Diversity and Democracy, and the second is a course called Sex, Power, and Politics, which is about gender and politics.
Classes taught with Agents of Change students: Social Work 350, which is adolescent gang intervention; Social Work 324, Juvenile Justice in America; and Social Work 424, experience-based understanding of the juvenile justice system.
I teach environmental challenges, a class on climate change. The way that challenges like this can be met is only through a combination of civic and political action.
I think the best experience that I got throughout my experience at Agents of Change was at the Public Defender's Office.
There really, in my opinion, isn't a better place to learn than the Public Defender's Office.
I was supervised by one of my professors, Human Kazemi.
My name is Human Kazemi. I'm a lawyer with the Public Defender's Office. The Agents of Change fellows that work with me were given full responsibilities as if they were law school clerks.
I knew I was going to go into law beforehand. I had known since probably my sophomore year of high school that that's how I wanted to make change in the world. I got to interact hands-on with clients.
It's just so fast-paced. Something is always going to happen, and you just need to be fast on your feet.
I think the most surprising thing I did was writing a motion from kind of scratch. The attorney that I was assisting that day wanted me to look up the statutes in the state of Oklahoma. After giving her all the material that I found and answering the questions she had asked of me, she told me to take a crack at writing the motion itself, which was really fun, and it actually got granted.
In one case in particular, I relied on the work of one of the fellows in making representations to opposing counsel on cases that assisted in settlement.
There was one case where a police officer purposely lied to a client to be able to get him to confess to a crime he didn't commit.
There's one client in particular that has a very serious case that was the same age as many of the fellows that I've worked with.
He had been a client of my supervisor for about 2 years, and he's been preparing for trial ever since. And it just felt like my fellow interns and I were a fellow outlet for him to feel like he was still human in the world.
It was interesting to see them interact because they were peers, and yet their lives were so different.
It was a good moment to just talk to him about the Lakers and kind of get him out of, the situation that he was in for a little while.
Just seeing people that I could sort of relate to and thinking like, had my life gone down a different path, like this could be me. When you go home, the details of cases, what happened, don't just leave your brain, like they stick with you.
You kind of constantly have to remind yourself to, empower the voices of the people that you're trying to serve.
The most challenging obstacle I faced was when I was working at Al Otro Lado. Having to sit through 4 to 5 hour phone calls with clients about why they're fleeing the country they're coming from can be very draining. Just knowing my family's history with immigration, it's not that far removed from me. My best sort of tip that I learned throughout my work was to learn how to separate myself one from the other, because it's hard not to absorb their own pain.
I feel like in civil rights work, a lot of advocates come in when folks are sometimes at their lowest points.
One of my moments of truth was definitely witnessing my first sweep. A sweep is basically when the city, usually sanitation department, basically bulldoze tents that people, like houseless people, live in.
I sat down with the attorneys at public counsel, and they sat down with the attorneys of the landlord. Guys come in, real tall, big guys, 6 foot. And the young lady who they were trying to kick out, single mother, short stature. It was just a broad of, hey, this is what you're gonna do. You're a single mom, you don't have it together. To not even just like speak for her, but to back her up in that was just such a powerful moment for me that I personally loved. The feeling that I had of being in that room with that young lady and being on her team was something that I gotta take with me for life.
I was driving home from my office, my law office, late one evening, and I got a call from my student, Catherine Owajori, and she was doing field work at the time with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles.
My name is Catherine Owajori. My major is political science, and my host sites were Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, the California Governor's Office, and the ACLU of Southern California.
She was part of the team from BLMLA that was working on the Kenneth Ross Police Decertification Act, SB2.
Basically, I was kind of coming off of, the summer full of protests, and
she pulled me into the dialogue with BLMLA, the ACLU, a number of other community partners, as well as members of the legislature. And I was totally amazed and surprised that she, as an undergraduate student, had such a pivotal and significant role in the formation of this legislation.
Getting to be in the room when all of these important conversations are happening, conversations that I, without agents of change, wouldn't have been able to be in, especially so early on, was something that honestly changed everything for me.
At the ACLU, I was calling people on the hotline, so people that are incarcerated in Orange County jails, I was speaking to them on the phone, and they were reporting to me their human rights and civil rights violations. During the COVID-19 pandemic, they completely stopped serving hot meals to incarcerated people.
It came as a total surprise to me when I picked up the LA Times and read about her work getting the California state regulatory agencies to put the clamp down on the Orange County jail's refusal to serve hot meals to inmates.
We organized a phone blast of the Orange County Sheriff. We figured out which number to call, and we created a script, and so we had people blasting his phone.
Agents of Change was a really great program because I felt like the time management of working and going to school while also earning that experience in the field that's going to help you after you graduate. Agents of Change really found the formula for how to do that and make students successful.
I've personally observed our students create and bring life and limb-saving Know Your Rights presentations to the USC broader community, as well as prepare the same training for the neighboring South LA community.
You can build so much, you can do so much, you can make a huge impact on the city and also nationwide.
The whole reason of being at AOC was not to take the microphone, but was to, raise the volume up for people who are experiencing this and who are fully capable and fully have the tools of defending themselves, but just using the privilege that we have to emphasize that.
Realizing that those things happen to real people, that was eye-opening for me.
Agents of Change just really gave me the opportunity and the access to make the most of higher education. It benefited me in a way that once I graduate, I was able to have job opportunities. I was able to have a network. I work full-time now at Inner City Law Center, which is where I had my legal internship. I also work part-time still for the LA Civil Rights Department, helping create graphics for social media.
I can't see myself doing anything other than criminal defense or civil rights law because of this program.
Since graduating, I have been able to work at the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles, and now I'm working at Los Angeles Community Action Network, which was one of my host sites when I was still in this program.
My experience in AOC has shaped so much of my life.
What I learned was really what it means to be in community and what it means to be among the people and really for the people.
A meaningful experience or moment that AOC has given me has really been the cohort of like-minded peers.
I had an amazing experience, and I really hope that so many other people, especially young black men like myself, coming into this university already feeling, alienated, is able to have an opportunity to not just help other young black men succeed, but to also go out to the community and help people who don't have the opportunity to go to SC to still feel empowered and still feel protected and still feel like there are people who care about them.
Use the platform. Use the platform. You will not regret it. This is an awesome, awesome program, and I hope that it exists forever.